Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What week? Can you put that cat down?
Yeah. The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know, I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
That's what the Canadians say.
no bueno.
No bueno.
If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno.
And we are back. This is Rut and River Pursuit Podcast, and you are in the current. This is Reality Outdoor Radio, where it's our mission to connect you with the people, skills, and products you can trust.
You can trust them.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dave, and who else do we have around the table?
I'm Will.
I'm Ryan.
Hey, guys.
What's up, buddy?
That's a short around the table this week.
Quick around the table.
Well, before we get started, let's have Stevie tell us who's sponsoring us this month.
Yeah.
This month's sponsor is Quest Hunt Co. The guys over at Quest Hunt Co. have developed the biggest and baddest white-tailed deer tournament the hunting community has ever seen.
Ooh.
This tournament's currently in 7 states, and it's now coming to Pennsylvania.
I love the Pennsylvanias.
For whitetail hunters all across the state, here's how it works. Get yourself a partner. We set this up for 2-person teams.
Got them.
Once you're signed up, you'll be competing with everyone in your state. Your team is scored on the total gross inches of your 2 best combined bucks.
Nice.
The top 10 teams per state will receive prize packages totaling an excess of $50,000.
Me and Deke are splitting a bunch of that.
The tournament culminates with a postseason banquet where all prize-winning deer are officially scored.
Right.
And if that's not enough,
Go on.
amazing discounts from vendors across the board
Nice.
just for signing up and monthly giveaways.
Get out of town.
It's incredible. Sign up for this epic tournament. Get all the details by checking out questhuntco.com. That's questhuntco.com. Tell them Rut and River Pursuit sent you.
Man, I'm getting excited about that Quest Hunt Co.
You ain't kidding, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
It is almost time to hunt in Pennsylvania.
I like the way you said that. I want to just point that out.
Well,
Did you hear what he said, Will?
Yeah,
It's almost time to hunt in Pennsylvania.
Well, I hear, Maryland is hunting already.
Is it?
But
Didn't know.
But I've been also watching the Quest Hunt Co. leaderboard.
Oh,
For
yeah.
Kentucky.
Kentucky is on it.
Man,
They're bringing it.
they grow them down there.
I'm glad we don't have to go up against those boys.
Just going to check this one in. 165-inch full velvet,
Man, those
mainframe
velvet
8
bucks
point.
like that are just gorgeous.
Goodness
Man.
gracious.
Yeah. So, I got to tell you guys something.
Yeah, does it have anything to do with hunting Maryland?
Oh, I was hunting Maryland.
Nailed it.
No.
Yeah, I was out.
Attaboy.
Oh, it felt-
How'd you make out?
I'm a big goose egg for going out twice,
Oh, well,
but I still was out.
true that, buddy.
Yeah, man. So I was out opening morning, got out there. Man, you know how you try to be in your stand, like fully finished, like doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
like 30 minutes to an hour before
Yeah,
legal shooting
You
hunt?
want to let the woods settle back
Yeah,
down
yeah.
after you come through. Sure.
Yeah, an hour and 15 is a long wait to shooting time.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
how long you waited once
Yeah.
you got settled in?
Yeah,
That's how anxious you were.
Just a little bit. I couldn't, I'm traveling 30 to 45 minutes to different places from my house and from work to get to these spots that I hunt in Maryland. And at 4 a.m, traffic's a little different than 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It takes a couple of trips out to really get the timing down.
And
right.
I pulled into the parking lot, and I have couple different spots I like to hunt this one place, and the one I like to hunt the most is close to the parking lot.
Okay.
So it was a quick walk. It was a quick drive all of a sudden on a Friday morning at 4 a.m.
Sure.
So, yeah, I got in about an hour and 15. I was fully set up before shooting light. Yeah. And
Well, that's good. That gave you some time to enjoy the woods before it got to be sweltering.
yeah, actually, that Friday,
that was the weekend.
It was
really
like a
nice.
high
Yeah.
of 76.
That's
It was
right.
like perfect miser weather.
You were ready to fall back.
Oh, it was definitely a taste of fall. And then, so that morning, it was slow. I saw no whitetail deer at all.
Really?
The woods were alive.
Well, I'm glad you told us about your hunting.
But nothing was moving that morning. I don't know. It's kind of like the hurricane was coming up the coast. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours away. I don't know what it was. I talked to some other guys. They had the same thing. But then we talked to some other people who just shot monster bucks.
Well, I heard
opening
the
morning.
spider rut was on around you.
I'm pretty sure I hit every spider in the dark.
It's the worst.
It's a public land spot, and you're taking a hiking trail a pretty good ways.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many spiders were across that hiking trail, much less
Dude,
like
what are they? Do we know what kind of breed?
spiders they are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tarantula.
I hope they're not poisonous.
No, they got that little horn or whatever.
Yeah,
They
I don't know, but their
they look
webs
gross.
just are gross.
Yeah.
You know, in the morning.
They're thick.
Yeah, they just feeling like
Sorry
somehow
if
you
I'm wigging
catch one in the
anybody out.
mouth.
Yeah,
and
you
your
always
eyes.
you always get them in the face.
Yeah, and I mean that wasn't even when I was like walking through like the smaller trail to the tree that I wanted.
Like a
And,
heavily used hiking trail.
Yeah.
That spider built that elaborate web overnight and just got done and was like,
Yeah,
and here comes the deer.
Yep.
Comes the deer.
Yeah, but I was able to get out then Tuesday. That was sad.
Yeah,
That was
Crushing spider webs
Yep.
2 at a time.
Oh,
Like it's his job.
that was my job.
Spider's
Friday.
like, I've been deeked again.
Good thing though. I don't know how many times you guys get out for like the first day of hunting and you always forget something
Every time.
that's
Yes.
essential.
Yes, there will always be at least one thing forgotten.
I
This
have
year-
a backpack that I leave packed
fully
for
stocked.
each thing. Yeah,
You think
but-
it is, and
yeah,
I
but-
thought mine was. Here I forgot, like, you know how like you carry like the little like nippers and like tree trimming stuff?
Sure.
Yes.
Just like a small package. Luckily I didn't need that, but I didn't have it either.
It's
So
always best to forget something that you didn't
yeah,
need.
yeah, that was good.
So you're like, whew, got that out
But then,
of the way.
but then Tuesday I was out in after work and found that I needed it and still haven't
Whoops.
packed it. So that was good. Saturday was a little, or Tuesday was a little bit more action though. Saw a couple does. Man, the area I was in was so thick though, where once you saw them, it was like they were right on top of you. You couldn't move. You couldn't really get set up.
It's like a Parkins
Because
property.
yeah, there was no shooting lanes. Yeah, no, I had they show up in the shooting lane, but I didn't see them even approaching it. It was just that thick of underfoliage that was green and leafy, and
Sure.
so that was my that's my hunting. But it was so good to get up in the tree stand. I did have a question for you guys.
Is that right?
So the spot I was
Interesting.
hunting Tuesday.
Well, you came to the right place, bud.
I'm still debating this in my head. When setting up a tree stand and you think the deer are going to come out of one area, do you prefer to be facing them or to have your back to them?
If I think that's where they're
I
coming
freak out
from.
when they come from the back. I'm stupid that way. I wish that I could just settle down and be cool and let them
Yeah.
pass. But like, I gotta know.
Because my what's your opinion on it, Ron?
As a right-handed shooter, I prefer to set up that they come from my left.
Yes.
Left shoulder would be better than the right side.
I would actually set up so that they were coming straight from the left. And I'm saying that specifically for a reason, because I have set up like that intentionally. But if deer are going to come in and surprise me, I would prefer to be surprised from the front.
Okay.
I hate when they sneak up behind me.
I hate it. I can't.
See,
There's giant moose squirrels where I hunt, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that usually come up behind me. Like, here comes one.
I keep having that debate. Like, anytime I'm hunting in Maryland, it's all public land. So I'm carrying in a climbing tree stand. So I have my choice of tree every time. I have, depending on the situation, I can set up, where I think they're coming from. I can face that. A lot of times I'm looking to face towards the wind. Okay. Face in the wind. Because
yes.
Okay. That's my number one thought. My secondary thought is I like to have them coming from behind me so I can look over my shoulder, use the tree.
Use your tree as cover.
Cover.
Absolutely.
And then set up.
Yeah, there's
but
a really good school of thought with that.
You have the problem of if they're really quiet, then they're all of a sudden underneath you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you have the other problem of squirrels creating noise.
False noise.
Yeah. So the one deer came up on me. The first deer that I saw passed in front of me left to right. So it was perfect. It started on my left side, which is where I kind of wanted to track it because I'm a right-handed shooter. It was perfect. But again, I didn't see it until it was directly in front of me. The other deer, I thought it was Mr. Squirrel that's been messing around for the past hour. And
so you shot at a really hard, fast, dirty look, and now I'm staring at it.
I turned over, and there's a doe who is like trotting because she got messed up somewhere down the road. She never was startled by me.
No, something's chasing her though. Rut's on.
Yeah.
Maryland Rut.
Maryland Rut's on. You heard it here first. No, like she was moving a little bit. She was making noise, but she never had the tail up because of me. And she never had her, I couldn't see white tail, the startled look from me or anytime she was around me and where I could see. So she never knew I was there. But all of a sudden when she was there, it was too late again, because I thought it was a squirrel for the first 10 steps. Yeah. And then
because they never come in loud like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Until the time it's them.
But then, so I was second guessing myself on my thought process of having the goal of them coming from behind me.
Yeah. Now, I'll go back to your question and clarify my point. If I was in a climber, there's actually more times I would set up that I can use the tree as cover. So I guess that would be hoping that they come in from behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I'm doing anymore is from ladder stands.
Right.
The time I killed
hang-ons.
From a climbing stand, they came in from behind me, and I hated every second of it.
And one other thing, I don't know if it's the climbing stand. I have had this though for ladder stands, for lock-on stands. The tree envy once you're actually up and see from a different perspective of like, that tree would have been way better. Look, that tree would have been way better.
The trees are always greener on the other side.
They are,
you know that old saying.
They're greener up on the 17th floor as well. Like it's, and we went out to Ryan's property.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what lanes do you guys want cut? And they're like, nah, we don't want anything cut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you do. It's miserable down here. It's so thick.
Right.
And they're like, no, we're good. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I just started cutting for no reason because I didn't believe them. And then Ryan's like, go up there and look. Literally,
there's
a
lanes.
Completely different situation when you see it from the 17th floor.
And I wanted to bring that up, but now that you mentioned it, I'm going to go right into it. The reason why we leave that particular parcel a little thicker than most, what was one of the other things we mentioned to you about that spot, Will?
Well, I don't know.
We're constantly seeing...
I was too busy cutting down lanes.
We're constantly seeing the deer across the creek on the neighboring property.
Yeah.
So what I am intentionally doing, it's a small piece of land. It's maybe, I don't know, about 20 acres total that's wooded. And it's a weird little corner. It's a travel route. Mm-hmm. There's really not a lot of reason for the deer to hold up in this property.
Not at all. It's a crossing.
And where we're seeing more of the deer is on the neighboring property, other side of the creek. So what I'm intentionally doing is leaving the area as thick as I can. I want them to feel safe anytime they're in there. So thick brush cover down low makes a deer feel good. But the way that stuff's growing, when I get up there 17 to 20 feet, I can see into all of that stuff. So, and again, the reason I'm saying this is the deer hopefully will feel more comfortable, because if you notice when you're up in that tree, the neighboring property, I don't know if they go through there with a brush hog or what it was, but it looks like that old mature timber, like you see it like Valley Forge.
Well, when that has such a canopy, it's hard for stuff to grow.
Yeah, there's no underbrush.
That's why like selective cutting and everything is naturally good for the forest, because you'll have a mature like climax stand of trees where nothing will be able to grow below, ground level.
Yep.
And, then there's just nothing for habitat.
But sooner or later, those deer that are all using that neighboring side are going to pick up on that. There's not going to be any cover down low. They're all coming in underneath that stand.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. If it's not this year, it'll be next, because it's coming soon.
Noted.
Done and
I'll
done.
write that down. No, but it is always greener somewhere else, up higher, down lower, somebody else's tree.
You're gonna get that
neighbor's property.
time.
Yeah, but it's fun to get out now. I mean, not just to rub it in you guys' face that I was able to hunt, but it's
That's
like
your favorite part, though.
Yeah, it is. But no, it's good for me. Like, not only do I get to hunt, and I'm happy about that, I get more chances. It's definitely a little thing to iron out all the kinks. So once
that is
October
priceless.
happens, I'm ready to go, and I'm even more. I mentioned, I think I said to you, Ryan, it was great that first day not seeing any deer. It was still great that I could feel my senses, my wood senses.
Yeah, they're coming back.
I bet.
And that's something I like for people that aren't in the woods much and they only have a couple days. Like if you are out more, you get more attuned and you understand what the sounds are. You can smell the smells, hear things. It's just your eyes too. You're picking up on different movement. I felt my eyes getting sharper as the morning went on, and even when I got to Tuesday, I kind of was picking up on those different things. And I mean, it feels it's practice.
Is it wrong to want to do an evening sit? No guns, just kind of watching preseason, watching the deer kind of move, or is it just all kinds of wrong?
It's absolutely a thing. People will set up observation stands specifically for that purpose.
Yeah,
they'll set them up, not necessarily where they're hoping to hunt, but just outside of that, where they can see that area that they're hoping to hunt. So maybe you've got a stand up, or you've got a ridge that you think you're going to hunt from in a climber. Set up 100 yards, 150 yards away from that, where you can just barely make it out, which is tough this time of year. It definitely is. But if you can pull that off, a lot of guys talk about doing this though, on edges of fields.
Well,
They'll find those crossings. Their cameras are in those spots. Like they know where the hot spots are, and they'll set up all the way at the edge of the road and jump up a tree in the stand where there's no chance that a deer's going to be anywhere near them, but they can see the whole field and just watch the deer.
Yeah, you definitely, if you have a tight parcel like Ryan was saying, about 20 acres, that's tough just because of scent and and spooking, and I would be cautious unless I have some land that you can definitely see and like you want to watch your setup. That you can see where your stand would be and where the deer move. So you can kind of see, did you pick that right? Is that really a trail that is still active on, or is that 2 years old? Just because it's a heavy use trail, and you might not have seen some scat from this season. I'd be cautious, especially. I mean, we're 3 weeks out, laying any extra scent in that area. For me, anyways, I would want to have.
I get it. I think that's
it's definitely a thing though.
Set up and get out and don't go back until you're ready to hunt it, and that's been my kind of take from it. But at the same time, like I've had urges to just want to go do an evening sit where it can just really nail down some deer movement. But you can do that during the season too if you want to move some stands or do like that. I don't know, Andy Spittle was talking about that 50-yard whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where you might only need to move, 3 trees over, but then, it might be something that it's worthwhile. I just have that. I find it hard to have that balance, like being in the woods, when to be in the woods, and why. It's just maddening right now. Everything that I'm thinking about, I know is going to be wrong, and I second guess everything. So, but
that's what keeps us coming back for more. If it was easy, they wouldn't call it hunting.
I guess.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about it, but like I got to go do some deer recon and set up some stuff with Ryan on his properties. He got a whack of new stands.
Yes.
Thank you, Quest Hunt Co.
Thank you, Quest Hunt Co. I picked
sweet
up
discounts.
couple of new ladder stands to put up. Hunter really loves the stands, which is convenient because according to him, all of the places I put them are his new spots.
Yeah. I can see that.
I mean, for me, especially archery season, I still do.
They're significant
the vast
upgrades.
majority of mine.
I think that they're really, really nice and comfortable. So,
They are.
Not that that's a thing, but from what you had, they're an upgrade for sure.
Oh, a considerable upgrade from what we had, no doubt. I still prefer most of my archery stuff's done from hang-ons. Mm-hmm. Different kind of ladders and step systems that I've got. I basically hang what I call squirrel nests for archery season. Yeah. But man, until it comes to rifle season stuff, those ladder stands are phenomenal. And Hunter's still using them pretty much exclusively. If he's hunting off the ground, I'm trying to keep him safe. He's using these ladder stands. But now these muddies I got through Quest, they're sweet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But we got a couple and got them all built and put up, and I'm pretty happy with what we're looking at. Where Will got to go out with us, mentioned earlier about how I try to keep that one spot thick. That was just one particular location, but to tie into what you were saying earlier about maybe you go out for a sit, but like Deaky pointed out, you don't want to put a ton of scent out, things like that. As I mentioned, it's a smaller parcel.
Sure.
And you may or may not have picked up on this. Golf carts flying through there. Kids running around with machetes making beaver-looking marks on the trees.
Right.
Dogs that are running rampant through the area.
Yeah.
Those deer are not feeling the same amount of pressure as your mountain deer.
Sure.
If those deer on the mountain, or if I'm talking about the deer up near our cabin in the big woods, if those deer catch a whiff of any of that stuff, boom, they're gone. They're not coming back.
Right.
They've got no reason to come back, so why would they put themselves in harm's way? Where we're at, smaller pieces of woods, their funnels, their travel routes, the deer pretty much have to go through there. They've gotten used to basically avoiding humans, but dealing with them.
Yeah.
So I've used that to my advantage. While I'm not going to go in at that last hour before dark to check my trail camera, I don't mind going in at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait till high noon to go in there. The deer are used to scent. The last time, or we pulled the camera that I had, there was only 50 some odd pictures of it in a week. That's not bad. The first picture of a deer was a small buck, but it was a buck nonetheless. 45 minutes after I walked out.
Nice.
The deer are there. They know how to hunker down. They know when to show themselves and when not to.
Right.
So having some scent in the area, people coming through there, they're perfectly used to it.
Tell you what else is there that we were on a side hill.
We did find some new stuff.
And Ryan stumbles on a turkey roost tree. And I have a little bit of turkey hunting under my belt. Over the last couple of years, it's days. I can count on, I don't know, all fingers and toes how many times I've been out for turkey. But like, I don't know it the insides and out, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But so I'm like, a roost tree? How do you know? Like, it all looks, we're in the woods. There's trees everywhere.
Every tree could be a roost
Every tree looks like a roost tree. And, so we walk over and he's like, come over, look at this. And there's turkey droppings everywhere. It looks like a clown face on the ground. It's just white, poo everywhere.
A whole lot bigger. Like, imagine what hits your windshield when a dove goes over top or a robin. Like, take that by about 3 or 4, and there it is. It's sitting on a pile of leaves in the ground of the woods.
And then you look up, and then there's these, pretty open branches.
It's a substantially taller than most around it tree with wide open branches. Roost tree.
Roost tree.
Do you know what kind of tree it was?
Big oak.
Big oak?
Yep, that was a big red oak.
Nice.
And then and the other thing that was kind of not a telltale sign about a roost tree, but that turkey is in the area, is their little dust bowl.
Yeah.
That we saw.
That caught me off guard. I was surprised to see that up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen turkey in the area, but not enough to really create the little
scene.
ecosystem that we saw.
Well,
up
you
there.
guys even you had the telltale sign. There was a feather in the dust bowl. Like, I've seen what I think are dust bowls.
Yeah.
And there's turkey scat not too far away, but it's like, was that really a dust bowl?
Yeah,
Or
it could have been a possum, scratching around or something like that. But this was
that was definitely a dust bowl.
Straight
there
up.
laid.
Yeah.
Eastern turkey
Yeah.
feathers.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. We stumbled on a fox condominium. It wasn't a foxhole. It was like 14 holes.
Yeah, there's something going on there. I'm looking forward to finding out what it is.
Yeah. So
Sure, it's not groundhogs.
it could be a crazy strain of woodland groundhogs.
Yeah.
Prairie groundhog, or whatever it is, but like a hotel, subterranean hotel.
Yeah.
So it was just funny having. I said, you got to put a trail cam up. So
Yeah, definitely.
I said, do you have another stealth cam? And he's absolutely jumps in the pack, and we set that up. I can't wait to see pictures from that. If there's anything, there's 1, 2, 3 holes that look way more active than the other ones.
Right.
But it was just really an interesting situation. I have no clue.
Yeah.
And there's down the center, there's this big, gigantic laid over log that was just smooth from things running across the top.
I'd love if it's just the possums or something goofy.
I'm thinking it's a coyote. It could very well be a coyote. There's been more and more talk of coyote in that area. We're not far off of Gettysburg.
Did you see any scat on it? Scat around it?
No, I didn't.
Chris, the property owner, was with us walking around, and he said he saw a pile of what looked like, dog poo.
Dog poop with hair in it.
Well, he said it just looked like a big pile of dog poo. And his dogs don't cross that creek. Remember, we crossed that one little creek bed. His dogs won't go back there, which is also why my stands are back there. That's that last little back corner of his property. That's where most of my stands are. But his dogs don't go back there, so it wasn't his.
Yeah.
Could have been neighboring dogs. I didn't get a good look at it. I was busy trying to hang a stand over here on this thing.
Right.
But that log that's there, we're gonna get pictures of something coming across that.
That's exciting though.
And that side hill, because I've hunted back there off and on over the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen groundhog, I've seen fox, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I know that yotes are moving into the area.
Yeah.
The neighbor got one on the trail camera 3 or 4 weeks ago. Full grown yote carrying small deer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that property across the
He did say
across
that.
the creek,
Yeah, I
but
remember
further
that.
further down toward the road. There's 3 different properties on the other side of the creek, different property owners rather.
Yeah.
And the one closest to the road got a picture of yote carrying a fawn.
Since you guys were out in the woods, did you see any acorns?
Some, not a lot. I was a little disappointed.
Not at his place. I do it up where I hunt.
'Cause
it's
I was
tons.
where I was at. I was on 2. There's two different parcels, and but they're both known like oak flats. Where historically, I mean, I was in legitimately a white oak tree, and while I'm looking, I'm looking around. I'm actually looking in the trees for acorns with binoculars.
Oh, to see if they're
still
haven't
holding.
dropped yet. Yeah.
Yeah, and very
Doesn't
light.
look like it.
But there was still squirrels moving around and pushing them off. You know how like you'll hear like a squirrel move and then all of a sudden something drops. Normally that's an acorn. Yeah, and but just very very light this year for us for where I was at. So I don't know. It'll be very interesting. Maybe it's just the white oaks. I don't know because both areas are normally heavily white oak areas.
What's the preferred white oak?
Yeah.
White's definitely preferred, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's preferred. They'll eat the heck out of the red oak for sure. But that property where we hung those stands where we were at is almost all red. I don't have a lot of white oak on that piece. But again, small piece of woods. I've got ag on either side. It's a travel route.
Yeah.
What I want it to be is more travel on this side of the creek that I'm on versus the other side of the creek.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did I see you guys doing some fishing though after hanging tree stands? Before.
Yeah. We went on a bit of a monster native hunt.
Native river bass.
Yeah.
Is it even a strain of bass? Like they're not even they're not a large or a smallmouth.
It's crazy because I'm pretty sure they're smallmouth, but they have that black fin. They're definitely not rock bass. They got a light body.
Yeah.
Like the smallies. But then they get that black tip on the end of their tail.
It's
like a largemouth has. Largemouth, you got the lateral line.
Were you guys fishing by the nuclear power plant again?
I think maybe. I don't know what to tell you.
It just every one of them are small. There's not we didn't even.
You guys were catching like bluegill sized bass.
Yeah, we didn't.
We weren't catching bluegill-sized bluegill, that's for sure. We were only catching bass.
We didn't chance into a larger bass either.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they're smallies. I can buy into it if they're just small smallies, but there's got to be like a river strain of bass or something. But I don't know. I mean they're super aggressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Super aggressive, and like if you rake the bottom at all with your jig, they go crazy and they just eat anything. It doesn't matter the color. It doesn't matter probably the size matters.
Right.
I mean, we were using all kinds of different colors, and just everyone was catching these little tiny bass.
Nice.
Predator bass, native predator bass.
I like it. So we should call them.
I don't think any bass are
MPBs.
native though.
These are.
I don't think smallies are native.
But these aren't smallies.
No, they're tiny.
They're predator bass.
They're not stocked.
Well, then they'd just be a wild.
No,
Wow.
these are native.
They're.
Man, the trout guys would eat you alive about native
That's
and
what
wild.
we're kidding. I mean, that's why
that
we're
was
joking
our-
around
I
because
know.
all these guys are
They're so particular
they got
about
these
some of those. I know.
fistfuls of little tiny trout, and they're like, "Check out this native trout," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's what we're catching, native bass." You know?
I took the picture like Danny Lease. This thing barely, covered the tip of my middle finger back to my wrist.
Yeah.
Just this little tiny thing in my hand. I'm like, look at that.
I'm like, make sure your hand's wet, dude.
Yeah,
Wet that up.
Just
definitely.
get that back in the water.
No, we love and respect you trout guys that are extremely passionate about those native and wild reproductive trout in Pennsylvania.
Reproductive creek bass.
Yeah, so you guys happen to find the motherlode of reproductive creek bass.
I think we should call them Veloci-Bass-Tors. Bastards.
Bastards.
Veloci-Bastards.
That works.
I don't know if that'll work or not.
It's gotta be fine.
We'll make it catch on. Hashtag
Veloci-Bastards. If they don't have a name, they have one now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you guys discovered something.
Aaron O, check into that for us.
Look it up. So I do need to take us back a week, if I could. So you guys were talking about a little bit of broadhead stuff without me last week.
I was not included in that, so don't wrap me in that.
I'm not wrapping anybody into anything.
Okay.
I actually wanted to tell Will, he made me blush a little bit when I was listening back when he said, he was worried about going into some of that detail without
It's
me
hard
being
hitting.
there. You guys were knocking it out of the park. I do want to emphasize and or clarify though a couple of things if I could.
Sure.
Go ahead, Professor.
First things first, check your regs. Number 2,
Check them regs.
you could kill a deer with a field tip, right?
Yes.
My point of saying that is it's about shot placement.
I wouldn't try that.
You can't legally do it. That's why I started with number 1, check your
Check
regs.
those regs.
So that's my point. I heard you guys talking about things like, well, here's a reason for a fixed blade, here's a reason for expandables. I want to just clarify a couple of those points, right? Oftentimes your expandables are touted as flying more like your field tips. I think, Will, you pointed that out.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I use
that's
the
a big selling
NAP, like which ones are the Spitfires?
Spitfires.
Yeah, the Spitfires.
Yeah, and that's a huge selling point for a mechanical broadhead.
But
it's going to fly more true, as in the way that your
Here.
field tips fly.
So you can say that I actually listened to you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know what your next point's going to be.
What's that?
If you tune your bow correctly and your arrows are set up, your fixed broadheads will fly just as well, if not better.
True.
That's what you're going to say.
That is going to be the next point. So it's
See, I do listen to you.
It's a pro and a con, or a point counterpoint type scenario where with a fixed blade broadhead, you can get it to fly as well as your field tips, just like that's the big selling point of a mechanical. The next big thing that you'll hear, a big selling point as far as durability of a fixed blade broadhead. They're cut on contact. There's no chance of
You can resharpen them.
issues. You can resharpen them. You can buy replacement blades, although most of even mechanicals are offering that now. So point here is there's pros and cons. There's reasons for anything. Anybody can argue the point of anything. The well-placed shot, the ethical shot,
is what matters.
That's really what's important. Take the completely broadside, slightly quartering away with an open shoulder. Take the shot that you're comfortable with. What I wanted to say is kudos to Kile for taking a little bit of time and getting to know his equipment.
That's the key, is knowing your equipment, knowing how far you are accurate at.
Yep.
If you're not comfortable taking a 40-yard shot, don't take it. Stick to that 20-yard range, 25, 30 range. That's I would bet the guys who get on a forum and complain that one or the other doesn't work because of X situation, if you talk to them, something else wasn't perfect. There's too many not perfect in the situation for it to not work.
I love the guys that'll argue why something doesn't work or something is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's because they'll start off their argument with, well, I lost this deer because of this or because of that. Mm-hmm. And when you start questioning them about that and you start asking questions like, well, where did you hit the deer? Well, I hit it right behind the shoulder. And I'm like, okay, but you said you lost it. Yeah, I never found the thing. Well, how do you know where you hit the deer?
Yeah.
You don't know where you hit unless you recovered it, you don't know.
Right.
There's too many variables. Things can go wrong. And you've got anecdotal evidence and examples on either side of any argument.
Definitely.
My point is, know your equipment, know what it can do. If you're interested in trying some other options, try them out. But do what Kyle did. Buy a pack and test them. That's, there's no better way to know for sure how it's going to work out.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Last point about broadheads.
You love Kyle.
Well, no, I just was giving him a little bit of kudos. And yes, I do love Kyle. But
Such a sweet boy.
he's a sweet,
He's a
tall,
peach.
giant boy. The last point that I want to make, though, is there was a point made about expandables and large cutting diameters and helping you take a deer.
Yes. I heard that point.
Two things about that. Number one, what brings a deer down is hemorrhaging.
Okay.
Hemorrhaging is caused by the cutting surface of the broadhead cutting as it goes through the animal.
Yes.
Okay. When people say the larger cutting diameter help me take the deer, no, it help you find the deer. That cutting diameter creates the exit hole, which allows for the blood
Right.
to exit the deer, creating a blood trail, allowing you to find the deer better. It isn't that it was more effective. It's that it created a bigger hole for that blood to escape the body,
Yes.
leave a trail, make it easier to find.
There's been many deer shot with high caliber rifles where the skin or fat or organ, whatever it may be, has plugged the hole.
Yep.
And that deer was dead on contact, but was able to run off. No trail because you couldn't see the blood because the hole was plugged.
Yep.
And it ran 50 yards off and died, and it was never recovered because no blood trail.
Right.
So, like, yes, I completely agree that cutting diameter is helping with recovery. And yeah, they're going to die because of the hemorrhaging, one way or the other.
So to that point, and I'll make a comparison here, and I'll stick exclusively with expandables. You take a Rage 3-blade broadhead with an 1.5 inch cutting diameter and a Rage 2-blade broadhead with a 2-inch cutting diameter. Because everything in the world of broadheads right now says a 2-inch cutting diameter is better. I'm here to tell you that 3-blade 1.5 inch actually has about 3/4 of an inch more cutting surface.
Yeah. It
Cutting surface creates
touches
the hemorrhaging.
more.
It's cutting more things as it pushes
It's
through.
just going to tear stuff up on its way
the exit
through.
hole, 1/2 inch smaller,
Yep.
but it's created almost a third more damage
Yeah.
on its way
I'm
through.
following you.
So it'll take the deer.
Some hard hitting deer math.
Yeah. Sorry about the math.
That was pretty accurate math, though, for a
Anyway.
podcast.
Well, that's why I said almost a third. It's got an extra blade, but they're each a little shorter.
Right. No, I'm following you. I agree.
Anyway, those were the things I was shouting at my radio when I was listening to you guys last week. So
Bless
most
your
of it
heart.
was cheerleading because you guys knocked it out of the park. Everything you said was
You
great.
didn't yell about the Stevie asking if they're made out of steel. How do they weigh? They're all. You always get the same
100 grains is 100 grains.
Yeah, 100 grains is 100 grains. 125 is 125. You always use the same weighted broadheads as you do your field point.
Yeah, but my point is you guys did awesome.
Yeah,
Loved it.
It was good talk.
Thanks, bud. You know,
Practice and know your equipment. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely key.
I like my comfort zones. I'm not gonna lie. When you guys aren't around, it's noticeable. It's palpable.
Palpable. I like it.
What's your
But,
comfort zone, bud?
My comfort zone?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do it anymore.
I tell you what, out hunting, 40 yards on a doe, she got small.
Yeah, I don't like 40 yards.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
I was like, 40 yards feels great in the backyard to target,
Yeah.
just a block.
No.
She was tiny
I
when
don't
she got
like
out to
that
40
at all.
yards because she kind of slowed down and stopped. I was like, ooh, that's still,
What
wow.
sight are you shooting?
I don't know. What sight did you put on my bow?
It's a multi-pin sight, though.
Yeah.
And this is to go back to Jessica Taylor Byers.
Cover it up with all your pins.
Issues about
JTB.
JTB's point about shooting a single pin versus multi-pin.
Yeah.
I have a multiple pin sight, but mine is one of those sights that actually the pins get smaller. My
Come
top
on.
one starts at 29.
Yeah.
Then I got 19 and
Yeah.
10. You should see my 40-yard pin.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they made them like that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
it's pretty cool.
But I I did the small pins on purpose for that reason, but still, I hate it. I don't love, like if it's got to be perfect in every aspect of the situation for me to even think about pulling that trigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know I can do it. I know I think my longest shot's been like 38, and I put her right in the, it's one of my better shots.
Right in the boiler room.
It's one of my better shots ever.
Yeah.
And, the deer didn't go that far, dropped it in the blah, 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 blah. But I fretted, you don't, up until you're ready to pull the trigger, you fret about everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like you turn into a machine and do what you're going to do.
Right.
But no, that they get small, man.
Yeah, they do.
Real quick.
Yep.
Real quick.
Thank goodness for me. As soon as I decide I'm going to be shooting, everything goes blank.
Well, I don't think that I
don't even remember drawing the bow.
Yeah.
Anytime I've shot it at an animal. Honestly, I go into that autopilot mode.
I can remember everything for the most part. Like it pretty much every shot I have that all that deliberation, and it is agonizing. But like I got that way because it had to be intentional for me, because if you're going to half-ass it at all, don't do it. I learned, I've missed because I've half-assed a shot, like, oh, I'll be okay. If it's a marginal shot, whatever. If you it's a low percentage, it's going to, whatever. If you do that to yourself, you're going to miss. You're going to make a bad shot. You're going to, and fortunately for me, on those shots, I missed. And the one buck that ducked me, pretty hard. I didn't take a marginal shot, but I knew it wasn't low enough in retrospect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can Monday morning quarterback that all day long, but
That's how I do it.
Under normal circumstances, I probably would have aimed lower.
They can drop some inches. I have a doe on film where she was closer than I thought.
Yeah.
So already I'm probably aiming too high. She was probably 12 yards instead of what I thought 17. So I'm still using my 20 pin.
Sure.
So I'm already aiming high by accident, and then she ducked. I mean, she dropped 6 inches.
Yep.
And in a split second.
Yeah. And luckily for him, I have, wonderful pictures of a, scar,
Oh, that was that buck.
Yeah. But like, I've just learned to just be in the moment and collect every piece of information and data and be very intentional with my shots, my shot placements. It still doesn't always work out. It's still not perfect. It's not a perfect process, but you do what you can to be as humane as possible. That's my soapbox. I do it all the time, but I honestly, that it's like anything. This whole process of deer hunting is just
maddening. Say it.
Yeah, it's maddening. It is mad, and I love it, and it's crazy. I'm excited to start doing it. But in the meantime, you heard Bucky saying that I've been slimming down a little bit, and I'm not doing it like everybody else. I'm not doing the ketos and the paleos and whatever. I'm not. I know kind of, what my body doesn't like or what it doesn't need and I can't do carbs and stuff, and you can categorize it and put it whatever you want. I can't do the carbs week to week and pizza all the time and strombolis and calzones and
I haven't had a calzone in years, so don't put that on me.
Yeah.
Those things are awful.
They're not
Strombolis only.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't had a stromboli in like
weeks.
A week.
But we have guests from time to time that they're wild game people, and if you follow any of the Traeger crew,
you'll see a lot of people doing the buffalo chicken thighs.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
I did see some stuff recently.
Did you see the ones I did?
Uh-huh.
Boy,
oh boy. I'm hoping you brought some.
I unfortunately.
Do you have enough to share with the group?
Yeah, no. I ate that. So it's a pretty simple recipe. And I can't even tell you how great it is. It was Frank's Red Hot, some Italian dressing,
Okay.
and a stick of butter.
Yeah.
And I melted it all together in a little pan. And then you Traeger the thighs, and when they're done, which is, look up the recipe for that. It doesn't take long.
You didn't marinate or spice or brine or anything to those before you threw them on?
Not at all. And I haven't been. So, I've been eating a ton of meat, not a lot of carbs. So, wings, tons of wings, tons of thighs, tons of steak, and I started doing brisket and stuff like that. We're just, our refrigerator is just full of meat. And
You've had the occasional heart of stromboli.
I do. I'll deconstruct one and just the cheese.
Just the meat and cheese.
Just stick it in my cheek and gums just to remember the old days. But anyway, these things turned out phenomenal, and put a little bit of the blue cheese crumble on top.
That blue cheese on top looked phenomenal.
We made our homemade blue cheese, and that's something Leanna, maybe next time she comes on, she can talk about how that works out. But the homemade blue cheese is nuts.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I got to get me some of that.
I've never done the hot wing sauce with the butter and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know how to describe how just flavorful this, buffalo chicken thighs were.
Yeah.
Dudes, chicks,
Dudettes.
dudettes, please just do yourself a favor and just cook up some chicken thighs and just do that really, really simple marinade. Buffalo.
And if you don't have a Traeger, head over to Will's house. You can fire them up there.
Well, that was a sauce you put on after they were done, right?
Yeah.
You tossed them.
Tossed them afterwards.
Well, you do. I think according to the Traeger recipe, you flip them. You do your thighs once on one side, flip them, and then you toss them in the hot wing sauce for a little, for another 5 minutes or something.
Gotcha.
Like that.
Nice.
So it kind of bakes it on.
Yeah.
And
awesome. It looked tasty.
Then we just you take the rest of the sauce from the pan. It's all mixed up. Dump it on everything.
What? You don't just get rid of it down the sink? No, sir.
No, it was so cool. But I hope. I've been killing it. Like I said, I'll eat the wings. Just right off the Traeger.
I'll eat the wings right off your chicken.
Right off your chicken. I've just been a crazy carnivore right now. So
yeah.
But I wanted to share that just because it was
tasty,
over
man.
the top.
Veloci-Wilster.
Veloci-Wilster.
So yeah, man, I love that recipe. It's something cool.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to get out there because it's super simple, super easy. Go Traeger Grills, type in buffalo chicken thighs or buffalo chicken wings. It's a super simple recipe. Try it.
I don't have my Traegers yet, so I'm coming over to your place to fire it up.
I'm still sticking with the charcoal.
Well, you can do it on a regular grill, and just that's where I got.
It's easier for me to just bring a pack of chicken thighs and show up at your house
exactly.
and say, make it so.
I got some in the freezer.
I won't say no.
Awesome.
So, but guys, I think we did this current a little bit of justice.
Yes, sir.
I think so. Hey, Ryan, how about you tell us about our sponsor?
All right. This episode was also brought to you in part by Protection First Class Outdoors. PFC lubricants protect and lubricate your firearms, bows, tree stands, and everything else in your outdoor equipment inventory. Your equipment's protected and lubricated during the season, and the deer aren't going to smell you? Come on. You know you need to get some. head on over and check out everything they've got going on over at pfcoutdoors.com.
Another great week, guys.
Yes, sir, it was.
Ryan, can you tell our listeners where to find us?
Well, as always, they can check us out at ruttenriverpursuits.com. Check us out on all the social media outlets like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search Rutten River Pursuits. Of course, make sure you check us out on the YouTubes.
Rutten River
Just search
Pursuits
Rutten
Podcast.
River Pursuits Podcast. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And the podcast itself, always available on awesome podcast apps like Apple Podcast, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.
iHeart says radios.
Give us a review on any of those platforms.
Heck yeah, if you're listening to it, give
Share
us a
with your
thumbs
friends.
up, rate it, review it, do whatever you need to do.
Sharing is caring.
That's true, Deke.
It is.
Boom.
See ya.
See you, boys.
Rigging with buffalo sauce.
And homemade blue cheese.
Homemade blue cheese. Tiny chops.
That spider built that elaborate web overnight and just got done and was like,
Yeah.
and here comes the deek.
Yep.
Comes the deek.
Yeah. But I was able to get out then Tuesday. That was sad.
Yeah,
That was
Crushing spider webs two
Yep.
at a time.
Oh,
Like it's his job.
that was my job.
Spider's
Friday.
like, I've been deeked again.
you guys happen to find the motherlode of reproductive creek bass?
I think we should call them Veloci-Bass-Tors. Bastards. Veloci-Bass-Tards.
That works.
I don't know if that'll work or not.
It's gotta be fine. You take the rest of the sauce from the pan. It's all mixed up. Dump it on everything.
What? You don't just get rid of it down the sink? No, sir.
No, it was so cool. But I hope. I've been killing it. Like I said, I'll eat the wings. Just right off the Traeger.
I'll
I'll
eat
eat
the wings right off your chicken.
right off your chicken. I've just been a crazy carnivore right now.